pressure and lock the ball in their forward half. Of the 28 minutes they had in their forward half, 22 of those. So they want to lower their odds and show more composure going inside 50 though, and they're wary of Liam Buxton dropping deep. So watching them engage him when he drops deep and lead up the middle. And Luke McCormack just wants to make sure that they stand up for each other, and if Vermont try to get under their skins, to make sure they come in and help each other out, especially Frank Anderson, who's getting a little bit of extra attention.
Stay warm down there, Matty. Just about to start the second term, and he mentioned that ruck battle. Max King probably has had the superior advantage over his opponent in Liam Buxton, but it's been an enjoyable contest to watch given the amount of stoppages so far. Let's head to Barry Cotts quickly at the score centre.
Yeah, Division 4, Killside 3-2-20 to Sylvan 1-3-9, and quarter time Doncaster 3-6-5-41 to Rulmark 1 goal straight 6.
Let's head to Brad Henderson now for the start of the second term.
Thanks very much, Damien Watson. It is a 3-point lead to South Croydon heading into the second quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as Schneider gets the first effective disposal. Gave it to Preto. Preto's kick inside the forward 50. Ainger did well. Was well tackled though, and that forced the turnover to Crowell. Strong tackle there applied by James Crowell on Purdy, and it will be another ball up.
Like the tackling pressure of South Croydon, as I mentioned in that first term, they have to make a physical statement to Vermont.
Yeah, tackling by both sides has been terrific. It's really hot in the kitchen today, and you just don't have much time to get rid of the footy. You've got to get rid of it straight away, and as a result, it's been probably not a pretty game to watch, but at the same time, that pressure has been what stood out. Max King won another ruck hit out that time. Marshall slipped over at a crucial stage. Tobin strongly tackled again there, and really good tackle to force another ball up. So the umpire tosses it up once more. King effortlessly palms it down, but it was straight to Purdy. Purdy well tackled then by Tobin, and it'll be a free kick to Liam Tobin. Quiet first quarter, as I said. Kicked 4 goals last week, so he's been in good form for the Bulldogs. That's a poor kick out of bounds on the full, and the free kick will go to Davidson for Vermont on that outer side of Cheong Park.
So Davidson, he'll just load up with a low burner, trying to find position, and then they do take a mark. It's a good mark there by Snyder in the pocket. He wasn't the tall option, he just was in the way of the spearing ball. So Snyder from 40 out, close to the boundary, so you can see on the live stream how difficult this kick is, as he's now gone beyond the arc. And he's very deliberate approach, because he knows there's probably not a pass on. He wheels onto the right, goes inboard with his running, and he puts it right through the middle. What a kick, smart player, and is a beautiful execution of the kick. Straight through the middle, Vermont 2-1-13, making the most of their opportunities, and lead South Croydon 1-4-10, 2 minutes into the second term.
Well, he had to wheel around to get that leverage, didn't he, Tom Schneider? Let's head to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, Division 1 quarter time ball, an 8-1-49 to North Ringwood 5 behind 5 points, and Doncaster just leading. Doncaster 2-3-15 to Norwood 2-2-14, and Scoresby 6-4-40 to Warrandyte 1-8.
So 3-point lead to Vermont. Great goal then by Tom Schneider. Buxton wins a tap this time. High kick by Pongracic. Birch on a long lead. Should have held the mark. He hit him on the chest pretty much. Staples there, takes possession. He's immediately wrapped up. And you're not going to get too many easier today than that one. It was a floating ball, but it did hit him on the chest, as I said. Alex Birch, you'd be disappointed with that. A lot of players around this footy. Schneider got it out to Parker. Loose ball now. Great pick up by Ainger. Shot out the handball to Wadley. Wadley's lovely kick. And that was great footy, premiership footy from the Vermont Footy Club. Started off with the pick up by Ainger. Terrific hands by him. Wadley cruising past. Bullet of a pass. And as a result, Vermont have a chance through Brett Eddy to kick their second of the quarter.
It's a good mark too. Not easy to hold those in full flight.
He's got great hands, Brett Eddy. First time we've really called him today. Lovely kick off the boot. Makes no mistake, that is goal number 41 of the season for Brett Eddy, and Vermont just open a little bit of a buffer, a 9-point lead on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Well, that's the Vermont Football Club we've come to know and become accustomed to over recent years. That passage of play right there typifies their skill level, and it's probably the difference between themselves and South Croydon so far. Although the Bulldogs have applied tackling pressure, Vermont have been a lot more polished in their skill level. They haven't kicked too many out in the full like South Croydon have in their delivery, and it's been great to watch.
Point of difference, drop mark at one end.
Yes.
And then Ainger, big boy, bends down, picks it up, just delivers a quick hand pass to Wadley, who runs through the middle of the Cheong Park and delivers the pass that finishes with Eddie and goal. So it's the skills of the game being executed can be the difference in these tight battles. King runs onto it, but he slips as he tries to run away from the pack. Schneider shares it with his teammate in Davidson, who kicks a high up and under for centre back. Wadley was caught underneath it. He didn't know what was coming. Finally, the defence come in to spoil. So South Croydon finally go forward. McCafferty's on top of the ball, but he leaves it behind, and the big pack swarms on it at half forward for the Dogs. And it's going to be a ball up, as Pongrasic was the tackler.
Again, capitalising on a skill error. Wadley perhaps should have held the mark given it was uncontested. I know it's slippery, but South Croydon at the attack.
He just got caught under it, didn't know where he was, so he got swarmed upon.
Free kick.
And it's a free kick for a held in too long in the tackle, and Howard picks himself up, shakes it off, and will claim the kick at centre-half back. Looks at his options. He's a very good short pass, but he decides he's just going to dump a ball to the wing, where that's cute and beautiful, because he just chiseled it to his player who was standing right next to the boundary line.
Ellis.
And it was Ellis who took the mark right on the boundary line, uncontested. Smart kick. And now his kick wasn't too smart, because in defence, it's all the Doggies. And it's a mark to Pongrasic, who looks further onto the wing, drop mark. But it's at ground level where they might butter up. Rosier goes again, but it's been taken by the Eagles, who just dump it into the forward line. King runs on it. That's Max King. So he's really just bumbling his way through it. And thankfully for him, it's not intercepted and goes out of bounds at the half forward line.
It's obviously a slippery footy because a few drop marks, a few hand passes that weren't executed properly. So the players just have to adapt. Ted to Barry Cotts.
Yes, in Division 3, Bronya 3-6-24 leads South Belgrave 3-1-19, and Roval have kicked 5 goals in a row. They're 6-1-37 to Blackburn 3-2-20.
Gee.
They dive in over the footy. High tackle perhaps against Dallas. Did the umpire see it that way? A couple of Bulldogs players certainly did, and no free kick paid. So another ball up. Umpire tosses it up. King wins it down. Strong tackle by Wadley. The umpire says it was too high there. Might have been McComb who gave away the free kick then to Donnell. So Stephen Donnell just weighs up his options. Short pass to Pongrasic, who's had a terrific game so far today, finding heaps of the footy. Up and under kick to a 2-on-1, which favoured Vermont. Probably wasn't the best option then, you'd have to say. Davidson, strong tackle on him, and Davidson couldn't burst his way through the tackle. Umpire to throw it up. He's struggled to break into this team this year, Shane Davidson. So much competition for places in the Vermont team. Was certainly a regular over the last couple of seasons. But there's so much depth in this Vermont team at the moment. Boundary throw in just around from the scoreboard, which shows Vermont leading by 9 points. 3-1-19 the Eagles. South Croydon 1 goal 4-10. Coming up to 8 minutes gone in the second term. You can smell the smoke wafting in from the barbecue at the social club. High kick by Kilpatrick into open space.
Good courage.
Good effort there by Preto. Throws it on the boot. Ball bypass Colopy. Donnell, I think he may have done a hamstring.
Yep.
That's had all the appearances of that. Anderson throws it on the boot. Wobbles it forward. Fisher showed good strength in the contest. Ducked and weaved his way, but he's strongly tackled by Cooper. And the free kick goes to Daniel Cooper, and then he lets Joey Fisher know all about it.
even though he ducked, the tackle was pretty high. So just because he had that ducking motion, the tackler got away with it, the first one, and then he couldn't evade the second tackle.
Steve Donnell's just gone off the ground, so we'll get an update soon. But you're right, it was a very quick tackle. I'm not sure if he had much ample time to get rid of it, but the decision may have been there.
I think he did, because he got around the first tackler and sort of dodged and weaved. And there's a 25-metre penalty now. Not sure. Gee, well, that's just a fundamental error, like a stop play situation like that.
It's not as if it was just as he was lining up, going back to line up too. He was already set on his motion to go forward. So.
He did go 30 metres back on his mark, though.
Cooper walks in and kicks his first of the day. Daniel Cooper, his 25th goal of season 2018. And the Bulldogs, bring the margin back to 3 points. Let's go to Barry Cotts with some more scores around the EFL.
Yes, in Division 2, it's Park Orchards 2-2-14 to Wanturna South, 6 behind, 6 points. And in Division 4, Forest Hill 8-4-52 is leading Nunawading, 5 behinds, 5 points.
That's my point, though. Once the player's back on his mark, there's no excuses to run over the mark because it's already set. It's easy for the players to judge where the others are.
Well, Matt Fodia would like this. I reckon he had his foot on the side screen. He went that far back, did Cooper. So maybe Preto just lost where he was.
Still.
So it's a ball up in the middle of Cheong Park. South Croydon win the tap through King, but it comes out to the wing where it might favour the kick off the ground for Young. He gets some territory for Vermont, but nicely done by Marshall to keep it in front of himself and tap it towards the boundary, and they'll reset the Dogs in defence. So let's look at the score 10 minutes into this second term of the rematch of the grand finalists from last year. South Croydon, the premiers, at home 2-4-16, trailing by 3 points to Vermont 3-1-19. McComb gets a quick kick out of the pack from the boundary throw in. Bouncing ball. It's a disputed ball, and the Dogs will run from the back of the square. They kick it out wide, hoping for Birch to run onto it. Took a bit of time to get to him, but he's got a runner in Pongrassic to get onto it. He's got time to turn around from 50. Load up from half forward. Puts it to the right post and smacks into it. 2-5-17 of the Dogs. They trail by 2 points. Big effort, just missed.
That was a big build-up to utilising the space on the outer side of the ground. Just couldn't convert.
Oh, that kick looked good for most of its journey, and then it smashed into the woodwork. So Caney brings the ball back into play. Pretty good kick to Ainger, who got hands to it. Jones throws it on the boot. Cooper off a step, unloads at the goals, but he misses. Well off target. Minor score for South Croydon. 2 goals, 5, trail Vermont. 2 goals, 6 in fact now the Bulldogs. Trail Vermont 3-1-19 as we head to Barry Cotts once again.
Yeah, Division 1, Montrose 5-4-34 is leading Knox 3-1-19.
Schneider takes the mark, running with the flight of the ball from the kick out. He gets out to Ainger. He's got a runner in Young. He skirts the boundary line on the wing. Loads the ball up. The Dogs have got the numbers. And Walker, so good at the intercept mark, gets in front of the contest, and he kicks it short to his teammate in Anderson, who's deep in his own defence. He likes a run, but he gets it to Birch at half back. He'll turn onto his right side and go to half forward. He's got Pongrassic in the area, who's got some help. Good ground level there from King. He's good zippy effort. Hands it off, and nice short pass into Mallison, who takes the mark. He's quick to pay on because he knows Jones is a good kick from 40. And from pretty much the same angle, he's given it to Jones to take the kick to put the Dogs back in front.
Gee, hasn't the game opened up in the last 5 minutes? It's really free-flowing now, and we see the transition there. Great work by the Dogs, just kicking to the teammates' advantage on every occasion, and that's why they have this shot on goal.
So Jones had his time in Melbourne and has come back to South Croydon, won the premiership, and he's using experience to lead this side as a great leader, and he steps up for the moment. He puts it over the goal umpire's hat by some distance from 50, and it's the 3rd goal for South Croydon. South Croydon are 3-6-24, leading Vermont 3-1-19, 12.5 minutes second term.
Barry Cotts.
Yes, so Division 2 scores, Upper Ferntree Gully and Mitcham. It's Upper Ferntree Gully 3 goals straight 18 to Mitcham 2-1-13. Lilydale 4-3-27 to Croydon, no score. And Mulgrave 4-2-26 to Bayswater 1-4-10.
Let's hit the boundary rider, Matt Fodia.
Yeah, guys, perfect example of what Luke McCormack wanted there, to lower the eyes going inside forward 50. Pongrassic had a chance to just bomb away, but lowered his eyes, found Mallison, who did the same, and found Jones.
Yeah, brilliant build-up by the Bulldogs on that occasion. And it's back in the middle once again. Initially, I thought Mallison might have been a better option to go back and have a shot himself. Jones, not always the most reliable kick for goal, but he made it look easy on that occasion.
You didn't see him kicking goals for your Demons?
Not many for Melbourne.
Free kick.
Didn't kick many goals for Melbourne,
Free
that's
kick.
for sure. Yep, aware of that, Matty, as Donnell takes the free kick, goes in short. Kick comes spearing in. Johnson with the fist, did well. Strong tackle on Rosier, got the handball away to Cass. Fisher backpedaled, gave it out to Lehman. Lehman out of defence. Nice kick into open space. Probably not, in the end, it wasn't a great kick by Rory Lehman. And but he did find the safety of the boundary line.
Did I hear right? Mulgrave are leading Bayswater?
We'll check with Barry in a moment on that one.
Mulgrave
Yes.
leading Bayswater.
Correct. Yes, that is correct.
Gee, so maybe an upset on the cards, but obviously still early stages in that one as Tucker wins the tap down. Ball was shot out, quick kick. Rosier had front position and takes the mark there in front of McCafferty, and just stumbled a little after he took the mark, but he'll go back and these are always those awkward ones. About 40 metres out, pretty well straight in front, but not an easy kick by any means.
I think you find, though, that the bottom player is probably more comfortable from this distance because the pressure isn't as great as if they were closer in. So I think with the bottom player these days, he might struggle to get the distance with the wet, heavy ball, but he might have a chance here.
He'll kick through the ball, so he's got that freedom to just really kick through it without too much pressure. So Rosier does exactly that. Looks okay initially, but then was just off target. Distance wasn't a problem, didn't have the accuracy. South Croydon 3 goals 7, Vermont 3 goals 1. It's a margin of 6 behinds at this stage.
It's in the hands of Caney, looking at his options, he's taking his time. He's going to kick to himself to give him just a second or more to size up options. He kicks it to the boundary side, late fly. Kalopi gets his hands in the back as he flies, brings it to ground. Angel gets on it, and it's like a team holding the ball, because as soon as he's tackled, the umpire signals holding the ball, and it'll be a free kick to Pongracic, who will load up from 70, puts a high up and under. He knows King's in the area. Max King won't get there, but there's another big man for the Dogs who takes it 30 metres out, and it will be a shot at goal for the Bulldogs to extend the lead to 12 points. Tucker, who's trying to look for his first goal of the day and become the Bulldogs a fourth.
Well, I tell you what, the Bulldogs certainly had the momentum now. Pongracic has been fantastic across that half-forward line, just delivering well inside 50 on that occasion. And they need to convert here just to capitalise on their momentum.
Tucker from about 40 metres out, 45-degree angle, puts it towards the right post, but this time it sneaks in for the Bulldogs' goal. 4-7-31, leading by 12 points over Vermont, 3-1-19. We've travelled past 16 and a half minutes in this second term.
To Barry Cotts.
Yeah, some Division 3 scores. Baronia 3-6-24 to South Belgrade 3-1-19. Ferntree Gully 4-2-26 to Higgsmont 2-3-15. The Basin 3-4-22 to Chirnside Park, 4 behinds, 4 points. And a close game, Templestowe and Ringwood early stages. Ringwood 2-2-14 to Templestowe 2-1-13.
Great work, Barry Cotts at the score centre. The score here is a 12-point lead to South Croydon, biggest lead of the day so far for the Bulldogs. And that's what they're capable of, just getting 2 or 3 goals in quick time. They've done it again here. Strong tackle then by Molnar. Dan King, did he cop a high one? The umpire said no. And it'll be a ball up.
11 scoring shots to 4.
Umpire throws it up. Tucker leapt high but far too early. Parker got it out to McComb. Luke McComb's kick inside forward 50. Nice work done there by Schneider. Shot the handball out. Wadley swoops on the footy. Tries to beat the tackle by Kilpatrick. Young. Short pass is effective to Pretto. Andrew Pretto. He goes short as
delivery.
Well. Nice kick, and he's found Crocker. Crocker there marking it on the chest. So chance here for Vermont to get a steadying goal. Important one, given that South Croydon have had the bulk of the play in the last couple of minutes.
A lot of the scoring's been completed from that pocket, though, for Vermont, so he fancy himself here, but just to stem the flow here, it's very important that Vermont can convert when they can against the flow of play, against the momentum.
He's got 1 goal today. That was in the first quarter. Darcy Crockett got a bit of advice, I think, from the spectators alongside him there, and he did seem to get a little bit rattled by it Crocker's kick right across the face. What a mark, though, by Eddie. Brett Eddie just set himself for the ball. And
oh, gee. Now, this might be reversed here. Yep. McComb whacked a player behind the play. Just undisciplined when you got a free kick in front of goal.
Well, a great mark by Eddie, and he'll be filthy that he's lost. His teammates cost the ball then. And a 25-metre penalty is going as well. So that's very costly for Vermont at a crucial stage. So they move their way down the field now, the Bulldogs. Birch, Tobin it was. Tobin's floating kick. Purdy works his way back. Purdy tries to gather in possession. Had King in opposition. McCafferty gave the little handball off to Purdy. Purdy floats the kick. It's a real floater. No one there for Vermont. Nobody wanted the ball. They all turned away from it. Little handball was shot back. And the Bulldogs steady now. So they dodge a bullet once again. Tucker gathered it in nicely. Jake Tucker, neat kick. Looks for a teammate on a long lead. The mark safely held there by Cooper. And Daniel Cooper should back himself in, I reckon, here. He can definitely kick this goal.
A 45-degree angle. The distance wouldn't worry him, you would think. He's got a long leg on him, but gee, you were right. None of those South Croydon players wanted it on the outer side, but they still had the time and space to deliver the ball.
25 goals for the season for Daniel Cooper. He's kicked one today. He is a long kick of the ball. He's got the long run up as well. Unloads. Won't quite make the distance. It was fisted through for a minor score. And South Croydon move on to 4 goals, 8. Vermont are 3-1 as we go to Barry Cotts once again with some more scroll.
Yep, Division 4, and Glen Waverley Hawks 4-2-26 to East Burwood 3-1-19. Surrey Park 4-2-26 to Fair Park 1-1-7. Forest Hill 8-4-52 to Nuttawanning 5 behind 5 points.
The kick out, Davidson taps it to himself before he gets it to Snyder. He's got good courage even in crowded situations to take an overhead mark for a small man. Gets it to Howard on the back of the square. So now they'll transverse to the outer side, and now they've got the runners going. Long kick into the forward line, 1v1. This suits the Eagles, and it's Crocker, who's good for his size, takes front position, and the spoil didn't ever come because good body position by Crocker. 20 metres out. Good judgment, got position, took the overhead mark.
Yeah, Tim Johnson just running away from his opponent in Michael King, found space on the outer side, had the chance to lower the eyes and spot up a target. Just can't afford to let Vermont runners on that outer wing just stream away so easily.
Well, the great thing about Crocker is when you've got a one-on-one, he's the one looking at the ball and the defender scrambling, looking at him and trying to get the judgment going. So Crocker from 30 metres out, he's got another goal on the board. He's dead-eye dick in front of goals. Darcy Crocker 2. That means Vermont have got 4-1-25. They only trail by 7 points. Croydon are 4-8-32. 21 and a half minutes gone, second term.
And that time he had no one there alongside him to put him off as he took his shot at goal. Let's cross to Barry Cotts with some more scores and then down to Matt Fodia. Barry first.
Yes, quarter time, Whitehorse Pioneers 9-1-55 to Coldstream 2-3-15.
Matt Fodia on the boundary.
Tom Schneider was really important there. Took a good mark back in back, and then his diagonal ball inboard sort of opened it all up for Vermont there. And his goal there in the quarter, he hasn't had that much of the footy, but when he's had it, he's done something with it.
You know, good call. He probably hasn't had, as you say, Matty, as much of the footy as we're used to seeing Tom Schneider get, but still having a big impact as McComb put his body over the ball, and he was unable to set off then.
It's important for Vermont to get that goal, Brad, just to settle the tempo down, because they had the capacity to get rattled after a free kick right in front of goal only minutes earlier.
Jones tries to take possession, was held by Young. Off the ground then by Colopy. Wadley takes possession. Little handball to Colopy.
Good
kick, backpedals with the handball. Got it to Parker. Parker's kick to a contest. No mark taken. Crowd did really well for the Bulldogs. Owned the front position and got the handball away to Mallison. Ball spills out to Crow. Crow gave it to Cox. Strong tackle by Wadley. Terrific endeavour shown then by Sam Wadley. And it will be a ball up.
For all of South Croydon's dominance, I mean, they're only 7 points up, so they just haven't taken their opportunities at this point.
Buxton wins the tap down. Will they get an opportunity? Comes back to Buxton, who just hands pass it forward, hoping his team up run onto it. But it's always Dan King on the spot. But under a heap of pressure, he tunnels a hand pass towards the boundary side, and McComb helps it over. So Vermont hold ground. They're 50 metres around from their goals late in this second term. They trail by 7 points. And you have to say they're making the most of their forward entries. 4-1-25. Boundary throw in, Buxton front position. Coming in late was Tucker. He bumped him out of the way, so that was good by Tucker. Then knocks it forward on the second F. Gets it to Rosier. Rosier shares it. Here's Jones off the back of the square. Takes a run. Takes his full complement of metres before he gets his pass down the line. The numbers are back for Vermont, and Preto just gets in the way of King. And Zippy King couldn't run under it. And bit of comedy errors there as trying to bump. Cooper comes in to give Preto just a friendly bump, and he slides off like he was going for a penalty at the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
He just slipped over.
That doesn't stop them blowing the whistle. So it's a boundary throw in. It's half forward now for the Dogs as they soaked up a lot of pressure. Preto's in there to giving it to McComb, but he's wrapped up in a tackle from Dan King.
Didn't he let him know about it?
And King makes sure he sees some of the turf before he lets him get up. So it's a ball up in half forward for the Dogs.
Yes, indeed. Buxton went very early, leapt way too early on that occasion. Quick kick by McComb. Little underground kick by him. Socket off the ground. Well done by Kilpatrick. Went back with the handball. Short pass is on, but Parker's there to chop it off. And Adam Parker drives it forward for Vermont. Nice work by Wadley. Used his body well. Best was at the fall of the ball. Jake Best kick across the face of goal, and the ball evades Eddie over the boundary line.
What do you think he was doing there? Kicking for goal or passing?
I was thinking he was in two minds on that occasion. He looked like he was in the open path to goal, but it sprayed so far across the face, he must have been looking for that forward option.
Barry Cotts with some more scores.
Yep, Bourne, and it's 10-minute mark the second. Bourne 8-4-52 to North Ringwood to 1-5-11, and in Division 3, Donvale 3-1-19 to Waverley Blues 1-3-9.
Ainger had front position in the ruck contest. Strong tackle there by Cass, and it will be a ball up once more.
You think Eddie and Best need to get into the game more?
Yeah, well, Best, when I saw him before, I thought, gee, he's been very quiet. We've hardly called him at all. Eddie, I don't think Eddie's been done too many favours by some of the delivery, but yeah, obviously they need both of those two firing. Ainger's been good. I reckon he's stood up so far today. Ball on the deck, holding on. Umpire says, yeah, he was held, and not happy about it, the Bulldogs then. Dan King had a few words to say to the umpire, but let's check it on our replay. And
no, I think that's there.
He dispossessed him, and then he took him to ground very aggressively.
Yeah, Birch there holding on too long onto Brett Eddy. But it's where the kick's going to be that's so costly, right at the point of the goal square. So Brett Eddy, easy as you like, pops it through for his second goal of the day. In fact, his second of this quarter. And Vermont bring the margin back to just 1 point on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Dying stages of the second quarter here. Let's go to Barry Cotts with some more scores across the EFL.
Yes, scores be 7-6-48 is leading Warranite 2-4-16.
Oh, we mentioned Brett Eddy needed to get into the game. I think that's a decent return in a low-scoring contest. 2 goals out of 5 in this first half, but Vermont just have stemmed the flow at the moment. Only 1 point in it, so the Eagles will be pretty happy at this point, given that South Croydon have had a lot of the momentum in this first half. Yeah,
you could say Walker's had the advantage over Eddie, but when he's got 2 1/4, that's all his job.
Decent.
That's his job. So he's doing it quite nicely. Ball's in the middle. It's a hot contest where Schneider gets onto it. He gets bumped as he gets kicked, but as he kicks it, it goes into the forward 50. Preto's running as an option, but he's close to the boundary line before he can grab possession, and it goes out of bounds. So they just couldn't get into the open spaces, Vermont, to organise that driving ball into the deep into their forward line, but it's in a good position. 50 metres out, 27.5 minutes. The first quarter went from 29. So we'll see how long this one might be. A chance for Vermont. King there waxing between Max King and Dan King, and the ball goes to the wing now for a bit of a leaving territory for the Dogs. And all the players, the scrum or the maul will move towards the wing. where Buxton and Max King must be tired with all their efforts of banging bodies. King gets front position, wins the tap down. Now the runner comes. It's a long driving ball from Anderson inside 50. Tucker nicely gets position, drops the mark. King gets onto it. He kicks it as he's tackled. Got the runners coming towards it. Purdy's under a heap of pressure. Was he pushed in the back or sat on? It's ignored, and the kick off the ground was missed from only 10 metres out as Cooper ran onto the ball. Or was it Jones? And his kick from only 10 metres out with an open goal missed, and it was off to the right for another minor score. South Croydon 4-9-33, leading Vermont 5-1-31.
Davidson brings the ball back in. Long kick out, Ainge at the target. Rosier working hard there on hands and knees. And Ainge casting the role of a rover. Couldn't get it away. Let's go down to Matt Fodio once again on the boundary.
That last contest was the only time Andrew Pretto's let Frank Anderson out of his sights.
Colopy stripped to the footy and over the boundary line. And Matt, you mentioned that, but seems like Luke McComb's letting Dan King go absolutely nowhere without him by his side as well.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into all the midfielders here, and it's pretty hard now because South don't know which one to lay a block on.
Boundary throw in. Parker somehow got the handball away to Schneider. He got the handball away just in the nick of time as the spectators called for holding the ball. I said no.
That should have been a goal, though, in hindsight. I know there was that chance 10 metres out. Then again, it could have been paid a push in the back against South Croydon on that occasion. So maybe a balance out.
Sat on as he went to ground.
Yeah.
Back into play. Kilpatrick, well wrapped up there by Parker.
Rain starting to fall. Good crowd. Just an observation, not a comment, but good crowd in too.
Buxton won it. Schneider over his head. Kilpatrick, very low kick. Anderson, great pick up. Gave the handball out. Kilpatrick again had his kick smothered. There's just no room to move at the moment. And Johnson takes the ball to the safety of the boundary line.
I think Vermont would just be looking not to concede now. We're in the dying stages, but 2 points the difference. I think we're primed for a good second half here in this game.
2 point lead, as you say, Damo, for South Croydon. Boundary throw in once more. Johnson sharked the pack, but he was going nowhere. And that is the siren to complete the first half out here in the grand final rematch between South Croydon and Vermont. And what a rematch it has been so far. South Croydon, they lead, but only by 2 points. 4 goals, 9-33. Vermont have been, well, they've capitalised more up forward. 5 goals, 1-31. So a 2 point lead to the Bulldogs at half time.
So a very scrappy opening term, but the game did open up in the second quarter. Set for a fantastic second half. Don't go anywhere on EFL game day. South Croydon 2 point leaders over Vermont in the match of the day. We'll be back with the Score Centre with Barry Cotts and much more in just a moment.
I'd like to